poetic account of his call. Some years ago, when I was young, in the middle of my teens, sporting jeans or lounging on the rooftops back in Israel, my life began to drag. My hopes were dull, as dismal as Sheol, that dungeon of the dead, that cavern underground, yawning up at God and defiantly exposing its black and murky seas inside, where everything is limp and lifeless. My name is Jeremiah, or Jerry if you like, and my father was a priest, which doesn't really matter in the least, except that when I was a boy, I had no beat, I had no go, no gang where I belonged, like some boys that I know. I had no number I could dial, no football and no groove, until a frightening message was delivered to my house by my God. Yes, by God. My God called Yahweh, Lord of hosts. That day was like the day when scared young lovers first permit the magic touch of tender powdered skin, sensitized by love to stir the nerves of life within. Yes, I was scared. As scared as you, my friend, when you don't know just what to do with the screaming in your head. For on that day God summoned me to stand before his council, filled with fearsome beings, in a sapphire heavenly court, alive with shimmering glory, and hear his bold decree. When you look around that council, you can see swift cherubim, like snarling golden sphinxes with flickering golden wings, the weirdest things, and you can see tall messengers of heaven, poised to parachute to earth, like silver lightning bolts or flying horsemen riding down on long white laser beams that reach the ground. But no one left the court, and no one disappeared from sight in the clouds that clothed the earth that night. At last the Lord addressed me to my face in a shrill magnetic voice that dragged me from my corner to the hot seat in the forecourt of the council. Young man, he said, I've chosen you for a difficult assignment to be my new ambassador at large to the people of this land. Since you were but an embryo, my hands have worked on you like a sculptor or a potter at his wheel, to mold your will with unseen skill, so that you will be a true man, the one who stands for me, stands up for me, and tries to understand for me what I am doing on the earth. But I said, God, there must be some mistake. I can't do work like that. After all, I'm only in my teens, sporting jeans and lounging on the rooftops. I've had no training in diplomacy or politics, in how to speak or how to pray in public. You'll soon be sorry, God, if you pick someone like me. Well, God, well, can't you see? But God thinks he is God, which isn't very odd, I guess. And he doesn't hold with kids like me telling him his job, I guess. Then God replied, keep quiet, son. Don't answer me like that. Don't say you're only in your teens, for you will go wherever I decide, and you will say the words which I supply. Don't be afraid of anyone at all, for they are just as scared as you if you could see inside their hardening hearts and hardening arteries. And more than that, don't be afraid to fail, as most men seem to be, for I am with you, even when you do. Yes, I am. I am. Stand up then, Jeremiah, stand up and be a man. The court of heavenly beings sat silent, cold, and strained, as God stretched forth his slender, flickering hand to lash my lip as with a whip or with a cattle brand. My words, said God, have filled your mouth and loosened up your tongue like acids will when you have had your fill of something very sharp. That's all you really need. Now go. Go off and win the world. Make its history out of date. by changing men and rearranging fate with words that I provide, with violent words. You heard, your role is first ambassador to tell this squirming world that I am flinging justice at every evil nation to straighten out this mess. Now go. So off I went to break the world, to make it spin and reel just like a bitten eel. For I was now a man of God, a messenger with power in my words to mold the might of nations according to a plan unknown to man, or so I thought. I hope you understand. Well, do you? Before we then look at Jeremiah's words to the nations of the world as distinct from Israel, let's